Hello, welcome on in to the reunion watch party live stream. I'm very excited today. Oh shit, oh no, Ariana Grande was about to start playing. YouTube autoplay will get you sometimes. Welcome. Yeah, so I'm logging in a little bit early before the official Love is Blind Season 6 reunion begins on Netflix. And I am going to be watching it on mute, basically, like live reacting. I'll do like a little countdown to when I like click play on the reunion. If you're trying to follow along with me, I'll try not to pause or anything during it. I'll just be here kind of on mute taking notes. Since I assume everyone else will be watching their own thing, I don't think me talking, like if we're out of sync, it's best I'm on mute for the duration of the reunion. Maybe I'll type stuff or something, but right after the broadcast ends, I don't know how long that'll be, but I assume like an hour and a half, I will just get off mute and chat with y'all. But y'all are welcome to use the chat to react to what's happening. I'm pretty excited. I floored at home after work to watch this damn reunion only to realize it doesn't start until 8 p.m. my time. Why? Right? Yeah, it's interesting how only the reunion they do like at nighttime, like a drop with Love is Blind season so far, and it kind of feels like they either should just always do it like at night or not. I don't know, it just kind of probably throws some people off that aren't like looking at every single little thing. But it's cool. I like that Netflix is playing with like appointment television, and that we can like watch it together and react together. But yeah, it'll be just a chill time before the reunion, or like during the reunion on here on the live. And then afterwards it'll be like hot takes. I will be like just writing down each segment they go through. I'm really excited because they've been dropping trailers for the reunion and they've been kind of juicy. It looks like a lot of Pod Squad is gonna come. That was a big question I had of like, are they gonna, I feel like in the past they haven't brought in a lot of Pod Squad. There was someone, last season I remember Johnny and Chris, because they didn't get engaged, but they were at the reunion. So like they have kind of done it, at least in recent seasons. But I would really wanted them to, ask Trevor about his exposed stuff. We're gonna see Sarah Ann, it looks like. We're gonna see also other people from the Love is Blind universe. They've been teasing that, and they'll be like off to the side asking questions. So I'm just excited. I'm hoping they've learned from past reunions. Just these trailers look pretty promising. They look just a little more like beefed up. reunions. And okay, yeah. So the other crazy thing I'm excited for, I'm gonna run out of time. I'm so scared. We're so close. I've seen a lot of suspicious canoodling of our couples that we thought were done for. I've seen Chelsea and Jimmy hanging out. Adie and Clay, there's rumors they're together or been together. Kenneth and Brittany. Sarah and Jeremy, I don't know where they're at, but I wouldn't put it past them. So, like, I'm excited to just get updates on everybody in that sense, because I've never seen this much, like, canoodling between broken up couples. And I'm shocked about the Chelsea Jimmy thing. Krista, or who mentioned it? Yeah, Krista mentioned it. Hello to people in the chat. Y'all are the early squad. Krista, Ashley, Callie, Stephanie. So Stephanie asking what's going on. I'm just gonna be starting just watching the reunion right at 8 when it drops. But I can't show the footage. YouTube will take my stream down. I've tried, believe me. And I'll just be here on mute, reacting in real time to the reunion. And then right after it ends, I'll unmute and just chat about what we just watched. And y'all can chime in during or after. If you'd rather just go watch it yourself and then come back, feel free. I'll just be chilling here, being cozy, taking notes, and reacting with the rest of the world. Let me go ahead and roll the intro. Welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel, where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. Yeah, it's 4 minutes till, and I'm scared. Let me pull up I should have already pulled up my Netflix, but I am pulling it up now. I might be like a minute or two behind y'all, either because of stream delay or sometimes it takes a second. Okay, y'all don't hear my Netflix, right? Because YouTube will kill me if I... Alright. Sometimes it like takes a minute to load in as well. So, I will count down just like when I hit play and when it's starting before I go on mute. And I'll put a little text. But yeah, I'm excited. Excited. The trailers made it look really promising. I hope it doesn't disappoint. But at least we're in it together. Two more minutes. But oh my god, if these people are together, I'm gonna lose it. Like the couples that all broke up needed to break up. I'm not gonna be streaming the footage. To be clear, I just can't because YouTube will take me down. So you gotta watch on your own Netflix. But meet me here after if you want to go watch. I'll just be here reacting and doing my notes. Just repeating stuff for people that are just joining. Oh my god. We're so close. We're so close. I'm really excited. This is the most excited I've been for a reunion, I think. The trailers really got me hyped. It's still grayed out on my screen. Here, y'all can see. See? I'll count down to play and then I'll mute and I'll put up my text. I have like a little text thing in case people join. Oh my god, we're so close. I know, I am traumatized from that one time. Okay, it's 8. Let's see. That one time the live didn't work. I was so pissed. But this is a broadcast, not live, so this seems to have worked for them in the past. My Netflix crashed. Oh no. I can't with this. Oh no, Callie got it. Or good for you. I don't get it yet. If y'all want to see my... That's the... Okay. Oh my god. Good luck, y'all that are getting in. I'm not in yet. I'll let you know when I start. An hour 27? Jeez. I'll be here for a while. Canada, nothing. I'm in Texas. They get so much traffic for these things. You would think they would be preferred. Okay, I think my Netflix loaded. Sorry I can't stream it to y'all. I would if I could. Alright, I see it. I'll count down. Okay. I'm gonna start it. I got it. Good luck to y'all. 5, 4, 3. Wait, it went away. Fuck. It'll be back. It'll be back. These bitches. Okay, I'm hitting play. Now. All right. That was a journey. I'm gonna insert an ad while I put powder on myself because it's been so long. Let's see if it works. Did y'all get an ad? I don't really know how it works. I have it like on manual. The struggle is real though, on camera. Okay, slightly better. So my broadcast ended. I assume if you started at 8 or around 8, yours is ending too. You didn't get an ad. Well, good. Let me put my cup. That was a lot. But, dare I say, best reunion. Best reunion? Question mark? Let me make a poll. Actually. Great format. Sorry for all the typing. Like, I really think this was really good having the past contestants. I feel like they've done like videos of like them reading questions, but like the past couples sent in videos and stuff. But I don't know if they've been, I guess they've been in the audience and off to the side, but they were really included this time. And I think it's a good way to like get updates on past cast members without doing like the whole after the altar thing, which feels like really produced. They have to like make up a reason to get them all together, and it gets really like fake feeling. Did we have no representation from season 2 or 1? I did see like I guess Janina was there, so that's season 1. I don't think any season 2. Oh, they all got divorced. My bad. I forgot. So the couples, no couples, but, and the singles from season 2, I guess it's like Shake is too villainous. Deepti and Natalie. Deepti and Natalie could have been good. Maybe they're not on great terms because they're making so much money off their... I'm just speculating, but like sometimes when contestants have like a successful recap podcast or talk about the show so much and tea and receipts, they don't invite them. But this reunion was pretty like social media informed, so I feel like Deepti and Natalie would have been good to invite. Yeah, I noticed at the very end they mentioned the food. They have to remind us that they feed them still. Yeah, the bar was not high for reunions. It's very true. It's been a lot of failures up until this point, but I think they finally at least figured it out, because they asked the questions we were all thinking about. They addressed, like, from the Gatorade to Matthew. They showed footage. They showed receipts, beat by beat. The Trevor, text message screenshots. I did not expect them to even address the Trevor stuff. I do think it's interesting they announced Perfect Match at the very end and didn't mention Trevor's on it. I don't know if like they're gonna cut him out or what, but we're pretty sure like the tea is he went. Yeah. But I think it'd be really hard to cut him out. Though I have heard he goes home early, so maybe they're just kind of not promoting him, and then he'll be there for a little bit and then leave anyway. Yeah, I do agree. Okay, let's just go through. I'm trying to think. How should we go through this? Like segment by segment, because there's a lot to talk about. That's how I took the notes, just chronologically. Yeah, Lydia and Milton were absent from the reunion. Of course, no Lauren and Cameron, Amber and Barnett. Alexa calling out production is fake as hell. Yeah, that's true. She was like, oh, production was always so lovely. Yeah, oh my god, they didn't ask if Chelsea and Jimmy are still together. I was waiting for that. Literally, I saw videos like these past couple days of them like traveling together right now. And like in Florida, not like to the reunion or something, like, because they've caught people like at the airport together, not together, but like maybe they took the same flight from like Charlotte to LA for reunion stuff. But no, I've seen Chelsea and Jimmy like dining, hanging out, like traveling in Florida. But that's only been like the last couple days. So like I don't think this reunion they would have been aware of these posts, but they still could have asked because there was a weird moment of them touching each other's leg. Or like hand. They like comforted each other, but then they also fought and bickered during the reunion. Anyway. Let me just go through. Yeah, I think they're talking. It says Roseberry. Yeah, also Adie and Clay, and even Kenneth and Brittany. Well, they said they're close. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, I'm just gonna go through the segments, not necessarily like every single little thing, but just like general takeaways from each segment. I thought the opening was very cute. The Lachey's are in the pods, and they made the reunion on the set. I think it was nice. We got a little bit of behind the scenes footage, seeing like almost fourth wall breaking of seeing like the control room, like where the producers hang out, seeing how the pods connect, and the reunion took place like on the reveal set. So I think that was cute. I think it reminds me of like the Bravo reunions where they like, y'all know Vanderpump is like my thing right now, when they do reunions like at the restaurant. So I think it's cute. It adds to the vibe, and the setup was all very nice. And they like introduced like the guest couples from past seasons in the different pods. It was pretty cute. It was exciting to see. At first, I did think Alexa and Brennan were Chelsea and Jimmy. They were like on top of each other kissing, and I was like, this is the reveal. Chelsea and Jimmy are together. But no, it was just Alexa and Brennan. So as far as updates, I mean, we got a montage of the people. I was saying, like, why was Janina in the montage? Because she found love with, like, a bachelor guy. But she was there. So they just, like, kind of included people that were there, and also, like, other successful couples that weren't there. So they had Zach and Bliss in the montage. Of course, Lauren and Cameron, I was missing them in the audience. Matt and Colleen are always a jump scare to me. I always forget they exist on this show, because they're probably the marriage I feel the least like approving of or whatever. Like, I just don't see it. And I also kind of forgot about Lydia and Milton from last season, because they're probably my second least favorite couple of people that are still married. But yeah, so the first segment and update we got from our season 6 cast was the whole Laura Jeremy Sarah Ann love triangle. This segment went out a little long. Like, I feel like some of y'all commented that in the chat. It was. So, Jeremy, of course, wearing his Hawaiian shirt. Let me pull up. I think I have a PowerPoint or something of the reunion. I also want to go through reunion looks, or just like comment on them as we get to each person. Presenter view. All right. Because I love looking at the looks. My order is all over the place. I guess Laura didn't have a look. I forgot. Here we go. Notes. Bring my notes over here. Yeah, I thought it was obnoxious, but on brand for Jeremy, wearing his Hawaiian shirt suit. We didn't get to see much of Laura, but she was zoomed in from Barcelona. I mean, it's obnoxious. What can I say? But kind of funny that he's just leaning into his villainy. And the true gag of this part was that Jeremy and Sarah Ann are still together. She was very defensive, very my man. Good night, Callie. Yeah, it's late. It was a long reunion. So this video will be up on VOD if you want to watch the conversation later. I will put timestamps on it. Sorry I was so late putting timestamps to the last live. Just give me 1 to 2 business days because I'd be tired after these. But yeah, what do y'all think about Jeremy and Sarah Ann? I mean, they deserve each other, and I do think we got an extra scene of Sarah Ann apologizing to Laura at the lake. It was a deleted scene. And I thought that was interesting. She seemed to sort of like sincerely apologize to her for the DM specifically. Not for the night of talking, which I think is the bigger crime, but for the DM, the initial DM. And Laura was honestly very like, she was very consistent with what we saw in the not deleted scenes of her, like not attacking Sarah Ann in that moment at all. She was just like attacking Jeremy. And the vibe was more like, watch out, girl. Like, be careful. This man, like, was all words, no action. So, like, honestly, Laura was looking out for her sis. It felt like more than anything in that scene. And Sarah Ann was whatever, but then she just ended up going with him anyway, which I'm like, okay, girl, I mean, ignore the advice, sure. And they were being a little petty, like, when they brought in Laura from on Zoom, Sarah Ann was like, do we clap? And they like, don't clap. And it was like childish, like, damn. I feel like Laura didn't do that much. I mean, so I feel like now Sarah Ann is very like in Jeremy defense mode, which is unfortunate when the girlies do this, and they're so ride or die. I do like Sarah Ann's dress, but I'm a sucker for pink, as is obvious. So I didn't mind the dress. But the it was not, she did not come off great this reunion. She came out pretty petty, and she did come out looking like a pick-me. The phrase not a girl's girl and pick me were like the phrases of this reunion. People kept accusing each other of not being a girl's girl. And I mean, the least girl's girl is obviously Sarah Ann. She's still with the guy that is documented being shitty at the very least. Let me see what y'all are saying. And yeah, okay, so the revelation too that only Chelsea calls out kind of later in the segment. We've already done the whole segment on them. Chelsea says the couple times she's seen Jeremy since filming, him and Sarah Ann have been like off. So they've been off and on through this relationship, which at first, the way they presented it, it seemed like we've been together since the jet skis. They didn't say we've been on and off, but later it kind of comes out. So it kind of smelled like a PR stunt to me as well. It was like, well, if you're on and off, are you just on when like Love is Blind stuff is happening so that you can maximize your clout a little bit? I think, so Roseberry Bush says, I think that good for them, but I think they are too defensive about not going about it the right way. They should have waited more. Jeremy should have given Laura a chance. How can she say blah Bible? How can she say it all felt real when it shows that he lied to someone else? That's why I think she's brainwashed too. Yeah, I get a little brainwashed from Sarah Ann, and I hesitate calling people that all the way because it also is like, she also, I think to an extent, knows what she's doing and knows, she was shady in some ways. And they try to confront them about, well, this whole parking lot talking till 5 a.m. thing. They are sticking to their story at this reunion, that they just talked and he dropped her off. But they confront him about the location thing. They ask him even about the Apple Watch theory, which, like, props to them this season. They were paying attention to social media, and that was the big theory, that, like, he left his phone in the car to show his location there, but then his Apple Watch, like, snitched on him at Sarah Ann's house or whatever. But he kind of dodged the question and just maintained, like, I just dropped her off. But then they kind of point out, like, well, your original story is that you were in the parking lot. And he never really, like, states a case that is clear or, like, denies anything. Sarah Ann spoke more than Laura, which was unfortunate. Also, they spent a lot of time with Jimmy and Jess. It's true. I mean, Jimmy was a big talk of the season. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a PR stunt and defend each other for this reunion. I mean, if no one's going to defend either of these people, so, like, maybe they just, I don't know. I mean, I think she'll realize, I guess, he's shady. At some point, but also she's kind of shady, so it's like maybe they'll be fine together. They did say they moved in together and they live together now. I don't know how on and off they are, how risky that is, but that was an update. We got a lot of Sarah Ann at this reunion. They ask, oh yeah, Jimmy was like catching strays here because Laura airs him out that, like, all he talked about after they got home was his image and worried that he'll look worse than Jimmy. And Jimmy corroborates and says, like, he heard Jeremy say, at least I can sleep well tonight knowing Jimmy's the villain. So Jeremy was just very concerned about image, which makes sense, consistent with what we've seen, that he does have clout chaser intentions on the show. It's interesting. This might be our first villain couple. Actually, maybe Jackie and Josh also are kind of a villain couple. But they were a little more in their own world, I think. But these two feel like, dang, they're reality TV villain couple. Even if they didn't kiss, it was still weird how they met at night while he was engaged. Yeah. That's what they kept saying. Like, it was still weird. It was, yeah. They both want to appear picked, so they're together and pretend they never even broke up. Yeah. Yeah, just admit you left the parking lot. They were sticking to their story, but then also like, oh yeah, shit, we had a different story, and we're just getting caught in all that. And the other girls give their opinions because the Lachey's weren't holding back. They actually did good. I feel like they got a lot of heat for their terrible reunions, and it wasn't that bad. AD, it's clear like the girls are Team Laura a lot for this. AD's opinion was like she didn't care about Sarah Ann's apology at that point. She says it's null and void because she still pursued him. Like, sorry for what was the quote. Because that was her reaction to the scene where Sarah Ann apologized at the lake. And then Chelsea aired them out. We already talked about that because Chelsea says, like, Sarah Ann unfollowed all the girls but still followed all the guys. Which, like, pick me vibes all the way. Like, hello. But Sarah Ann says she was iced out of the group chat. Her and Jess start fighting. And Jess just says, like, as a group, they all thought they could have handled the situation more respectfully to the engagement. So, and that's about it. I mean, we spent a lot of time going back and forth with them because they kept just denying it. And I think the Lacheys and other people were trying to get them to admit the truth, but they didn't. Or if it's not the truth, it's still like inappropriate. Or if it is the truth they're telling, it's still inappropriate. And at the end, I think she kind of says, did they finally say? Yeah. Yeah, at the end, Jeremy, I say he half-ass apologizes is what I put in my note. At the end, he does say, like, okay, yeah, we went about it the wrong way. But it feels kind of half-hearted, in my opinion. I didn't realize people said pick me outside of the internet. I mean, they didn't until it became popularized. I feel like it always starts like in the niche internet and then it trickles up and then your boomer grandpa is saying litty titty or whatever. Only other update, I mean, there's not much more to say about Sarah and Jeremy. I'm interested to see if they become successful, but my theory is like they'll break up. I mean, they seem on and off. I predict them to have a similar journey to Jackie and Josh, who were another kind of toxic secondary couple that formed. But I mean, if they're happy, good for them. They deserve each other to some extent. The only other thing we got is Laura apologizing for the bean dip thing again. I think it's more, she seems clearly trying to clear her name about that because she got a lot of hate on social media. I saw she had to like put out a statement on her story about like, enough, like I get it, it was wrong. I apologize. Which like, her and AD seem really close. AD rides hard for her at the lake. So I think that's what I'm going by, that like they're good, they're fine. She apologized on the platform. She needed to apologize. Jeremy also like piggybacks and apologizes too for the bean dip thing. So it just feels like it was more just for their own peace on their own social pages, which makes sense, I think, because they probably got so much hate for all that, which is just what happens on these shows. Oh, sorry, chat. Oh, I lost you. She gets a lot of hate. I need to end this poll, too. 79%. Oh, let's see. 79% say this might be the best reunion. 21% say it's not. We've had some, like, I feel like half the reunions before this were, like, successful, at least, like, not terrible, and then half were terrible. A lot of times the reunion is a reflection on the season, too, I feel like. And this season just had a lot of juicy stuff, and they went for it in the reunion. 78% now, 22. I'll end the poll. Oh, and Laura's dating somebody. That was her update. So good for her. Hoping for the best for her. Okay, next segment was Mr. Trevor. This is where I was gagging during the stream, and I was just like, they were bringing him out, and this could not have gone more horribly for him. I mean, there's really nothing he can do. Like, what can he do? Sorry, Jess is in this. It's just an old slide. I didn't have to. I wasn't sure how they were gonna pair people in the reunion, so I left the slide. But like, what can he do when he was caught? And I think Blah Bible was saying in the chat that, like, it's a little unfortunate for him because he is a clout chaser that got caught. And, like, there's a lot of clout chasers that do not get caught on this show. A lot of people we predict are there for fame. I mean, Jessica's a good example here. You know, they might have intentions or whatever, good intentions, bad intentions, or a mix. I think a lot of people go in with a mix of intentions. Like, they're like, well, if I find love, great, but if I don't, I'll get famous. Great as well. So Trevor was just dumb enough to get caught. He had a paper trail. He got exposed. And now they've made an example out of him. I'm glad they did, just because this was something I know the audience was dying to know. Nick mentioned, like, we all started with protect Trevor at all costs. We're obsessed, everything. And then the receipts came out and they went beat by beat on the text I was living, showing each and every one. And the reactions from the past cast were all just like, they were not having it. I think he paused for so long. Stephanie said, I thought Netflix randomly paused when he paused for so long. It was very suspenseful. And then he just said, like, I don't know. Like, he didn't really give an explanation, because what can you say? I mean, at least, like, he can say I was there for clout, but that's hard to pull off. You have to be, like, super charismatic to, like, win with that. But also, if he says anything else, he's lying, obviously. So he ends up giving his side of the story, which is that he was not dating her, technically, the woman who exposed him, the former girlfriend. They never technically went official, allegedly. But Nick drags his ass and says, you were saying I love you to her. So even if you weren't official, like, it was kind of serious. And Trevor just denies. He says, like, he really wanted to try the experiment. Like, if he found love, he was ready to, like, leave this relationship, situationship, whatever he wants to call it. And that he would have been with Chelsea if Chelsea chose him, which none of us believe. He, like, says he's toxic. He's like, I know I'm toxic. It's just like, there's nothing he can say. I mean, I have to acknowledge, like, what can he say to like, make us be on his side? Literally nothing. I mean, I guess him lying hurts his case with us, but Like, he's just like, I'm just toxic, and it's like, it's too late, guy, to be just admitting your flaws, because we saw you're toxic, and we don't believe for a second you didn't mean the text messages that were exposed, they were private. And the other people kind of react. We get Chelsea's reaction a bit to Trevor, and she just mentions, like, I had an intuition and I couldn't put my finger on it, but like now I can. And Brittany calls him out, speaking for like kind of everyone in the cast and past cast, like it's unfair and disrespectful to like the people going into the show with the right intentions, here for the right reasons, as they love to say on The Bachelor. Like, again, yeah, Trevor just got caught and they made an example out of him. There was one part Amy ate him up, and I was living. Amy said, after, because Trevor's like, the boys know I was an emotional wreck when Chelsea broke up with me. And Amy says, like, were you sad because Chelsea broke up with you or because you were leaving the show? Which is T. T, 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 T. He was crying because he wasn't going to get his fame. And he just admits he came on the show for both good and bad reasons. But and that he wants to leave. He starts asking to just leave the reunion. I mean, what else can he say, And Nick just tells him, like, we don't want people here just for the fame. It's just wrong. And Trevor just walks out quietly and unceremoniously. It was kind of... the way he walked out was so funny. Let me see if I can find it without getting... Oh, shit. I still have my text. Let me get the text away. Where did my Netflix go? The way he just walked out of the room was so unceremonious. Let me see what y'all are saying. You should at least be unattached if you go on the show. Trevor was so fake. He tricked everyone. I love The Notebook. Yeah, I was like, deep down, I was like, this must be too good to be true. But I just, I gave the benefit of the doubt. Trevor underestimated everyone, and he still tried to lie his way out of it instead of admitted. Yeah, bad choice. Yeah, I think it's a tough situation. He, like, half admitted it, saying, like, I'm toxic. I did good and bad reasons, or had good and bad reasons for... I'm just trying to get this Trevor exit. It was just too funny. It's like the window has legs. It's no audio. This is so sad. Bye. That was just too funny. Yeah, that's all. That's all she wrote for Trevor. Trevor trying to use semantics. You have to be wildly good-looking, charismatic to still have a social media career if you say it's for clout. That's the reality, I think, that even if, like, he was totally honest, didn't lie at this stage, he didn't have the like charisma that someone like Jess or even like Clay, someone like Clay who's very good with his words, or like just smooth. I feel like they have a charm to them that's just like an it factor for people in show business, in my opinion. And Trevor didn't have that all the way because I mean, he built his persona on lies, like the whole notebook thing, and that stuff. It's so over the top that it's like so fake and not based in reality that like when you lose the fake persona, you lose like whatever charisma that people had fallen in love with. So, bye, Trevor. I'm glad we addressed it all. I'm glad he had a moment to come clean. He's at least admitted a little bit some things, but yeah, hid behind semantics of what his relationship was, which none of us buy into. I mean, afterwards he was saying he was going to marry this girl, and all of that, and only broke up with her like pretty recently. Yeah, Stephanie says they spent too much time with Sarah Ann, Germany, and Laura. We needed more Chelsea and Jimmy grilling. I agree. We got so little Chelsea and Jimmy. I kept thinking it was coming as like the big finale, and it never did. I feel like Jimmy would be so easy to fall in love with. He just has that something. Really? Roseberry Bush. I'm not sure if I agree with that personally, but some people might. I mean, he ended up not the worst guy, but the bar was kind of all over the place. Yes, Clay was a bad guy's good apology. Yeah, Clay looked like he was experiencing super anxiety, like his eyes were darting. He looked uncomfy. Uncomfy, another word of the season. Honestly, if we put words in the time capsule, uncomfy and pick me are the words for the time capsule. And yeah, let's move on to Aidy and Clay. They were the next segment. They were hard because this was probably one of the heavier segments, and I apologize if I was laughing at any heavy parts. It was just I was reading the chat and y'all had funny comments about a variety of different parts of the reunion. But yeah, Aidy and Clay talk about like how hard it was to watch their scenes, their final altar scene, and Clay seems pretty regretful. I mean, that's what he's saying here. He says he made a mistake saying no to AD. He's emotional. He's near tears. And AD's response was interesting to that. She was kind of rolling her eyes at Trevor. Sorry, let me bring them up. They had some gorgeous looks. I mean, they're our best dressed, best looking couple. So that makes sense. She looked gorgeous. I mean, I feel like the sheer gown style is so in these days. And he's just very classic with his. I mean, the men's fashion, I'm always like, I don't know. I mean, it's men's fashion. It's not too exciting. So AD's kind of like rolling her eyes at Clay. I'm glad she got an opportunity at this reunion to kind of like call him out and just say like, you had your chance. Like, she says something like low-key, respectfully, you played in my fucking face, which I think was a great line from her. And it felt like kind of cathartic to get that off her chest. Because yeah, he's like apologizing, saying like he was back and forth on the decision, while AD feels like he knew he was going to say no, but just let her on, basically. I am confused about where this couple stands with dating-wise. I've heard rumors they've, like, dated, or I don't know. But because, and there was also a question about this. Like, Vanessa asked AD if she would date him again. And she says, like, no comment, basically, like, avoids the question, like, next question. And Clay says yes. for sure. Um, so I don't know. I don't totally buy it from Clay that he's all in on her. Um, like, I think it's just kind of like he just wants her attention or her affection, but I don't know if he's all the way there yet. He does talk about he has gotten therapy, he has tried different therapists, so I really am glad to hear it because we heard so much this season how he was going to get therapy and wants to get therapy but kept not taking any action towards that goal. So like that's great. I think that's important, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take a while to heal. He says he's ready now for marriage. It's been a year-ish since they filmed, and I don't know. Maybe he is, but I'm glad he's taking the steps. I'm still rooting for him. I mean, he's toxic, but he just has that charisma. But I don't want them together. I'm glad it didn't seem like they're like, at least officially publicly together. They didn't say that. It was more like confusing if they're open to it. I mean, he's open to it for sure. I'm not sure where she stands. I don't really know. I don't really know with them. I almost cried during AD and Clay. I could feel Clay through the screen. Clay was really emotional, and I commend that about him as well, to be like openly crying on national TV. I don't think he deserves AD back or anything, but still good to see. How did AD watch the show and still think he let her on? I know, poor AD. Poor AD. Men like Clay practice sounding sincere in the mirror. Yeah, like there's things I just don't believe him on, like him being so ready, or that he should have said yes at the altar, things like that. It just feels like more like kind of all talk a little bit. Oh yeah, he kept calling AD the love of his life. And that was I agree, that was weird. It was like, move on, y'all broke up. But also, I saw someone in the chat when that was happening say like, this is weird that she's so emotionally invested still. Like they seem like they could have something going on if they're still kind of like the wounds seem fresh, or like they still seem heated. They don't seem moved on. I mean, he definitely doesn't. But she didn't totally seem either moved on. So I don't know what that means. I wish we had gotten more direct questions. That's the main thing missing, I think, for this reunion. Of like, are y'all together? For them, for Chelsea and Jimmy, for Brittany and Kenneth, they were kind of confusing. Yeah, I think 1 year is not enough, especially if you tried out a few therapists. Yeah, I mean, it takes time. You try out different therapists, then work with one you fit with. It's a whole thing. Who's Ariel? From season 6? Jessica's dating Ariel. Oh, is he a guy with like a ponytail or like a bun from this season? He needs 7 to 10 years of therapy. Alicia, that's funny. I mean, yeah, that's no shade, but we saw the trauma, and we got AD's take on the conversation Rita had with his dad. His dad is another Trevor, toxic Trevors. I should have worn my shirt. I thought about it actually, but then I was like, is that too risque for YouTube? They're going to get me demonetized. But I have a shirt that literally says fuck Trevor. It's actually Tame Impala merch. And it's quite an ugly shirt, but and I'm always embarrassed to like wear it out, because I'm like, what if some rando's name is Trevor, like on the street, and he beats me up or something for starting a fight. Anyway, it's from like the one song where there's like a guy named Trevor that is stealing his girl or whatever. But it's just funny. Yeah, okay, the guy with the ponytail. Yeah, I guess they're not revealing too much about Jessica's situation because she's on Perfect Match, so they're probably waiting for her to find love on that totally real dating show. But yeah, I hope the best for AD and Clay. Separately, I hope from each other. I have seen also rumors on social media about Clay being quite a player. But I don't know. It's hard to know when these things come out, like, how verified they are. I feel like the Trevor thing, it took me a few days to, like, seeing stuff get exposed to see, like, okay, this seems real. Sometimes people just speculate wild. I mean, the Gatorade was so... Actually, this is a good time to talk about the Gatorade. The Gatorade thing was so funny, and a funny example of, like, fans taking things to extremes and being totally wrong about it. It started out just like a Reddit post, and it was pretty funny, like a random, haha, why is Clay microwaving a Gatorade? And then at the end of the reunion, they show the footage, the receipts of him putting a regular ass plate of noodles in the microwave, closing it, and then the reflection shows like a Gatorade like across the counter or something. And I was like, wow, that taught us a lesson right there. Not really, but you know, it's just funny to think about like how much it spiraled, and that was a thing. And then it's like, oh, it was just coincidence, reflections, like all an illusion. That's funny. Yeah, Perfect Match is already filmed. Yeah, or from what I see on Reddit and whatever. So I would think the people that are on the show, they kind of keep quiet about if they're dating anybody. I mean, I guess I don't follow her. I don't follow Jess that close, so I haven't seen if she's posted a lot about Ariel. But that was AD and Clay. Who else we got? Wish them the best. Amy and Johnny were next. Again, my notes this big. Amy and Johnny. They were perfect. We got the home videos montage we always get for the successful couples. They're still together. I was happy to hear because you never know either. I was like, what if they don't end up together? Because also, like, at the beginning of the season, or after I make, like, my first video, I go and look at their socials. And, like, just seeing Amy's socials, and she's with other people and not Johnny, and Johnny is without her on his social. So I just feel like, how can they be married and have active social medias? But I mean, it's curated, obviously, so it makes sense. I just never know. I'm like, glad to hear they're still together. They're gonna go in the Hall of Fame with the Tiffany and Brett's, Lauren and Cameron's of the season. I think they might be third most wholesome couple. Or, honestly, tied with those others. Lauren and Cameron are just the first, so I feel like they're king and queen of Love is Blind. But, yeah, I think they're very cute. They haven't fought, which is great. They're like the only couple that is successful and also saying, you know, relationships are easy, marriage is easy, which sounds a lot more healthy, of course. And they admit, they're like, of course we have disagreements, but we just talk it out and work it out, which I think is just very healthy, and is interesting to contrast with those couples that are really toxic and are always like, marriage is just hard. Like, relationships are hard. That's what Pam was saying in the chat. So I like that Amy and Johnny were like, you know, marriage is easy. It's kind of funny. Also loved her dress. Someone in the chat had said Jessica Rabbit vibes. Love it. She looked great. He's wearing a suit, again, men's fashion. But I love it. Love the glove. Very dramatic. I loved her look. We did get a follow-up to the birth control conversation, but we did not get any answers, really. I mean, it's fine. Honestly, I think it's for the best. They keep something private because it's been a very, like, like it's a conversation like the whole world shouldn't be in on, but now we are, and now we're invested. And it's like now we want to know exactly how they're doing it, even though we have no right to know. So they just talked about like, oh, what's the problem with condoms? That was like a fan question. And they talk about like, yes, they were an option, but he just kind of pivots to talking about like he didn't know about the birth control world. She says like, respectfully, I had to educate him a lot, which I think it's important to show that like the a lot of men have that privilege, not having to think about it. But the final answer was that like she didn't go on birth control and he didn't get a vasectomy, but they figured it out. Which I'm like, I want to know what was the solution. I have no right to know. I'm not entitled to any information, but we were so invested. I want to know, how did they solve this? I don't know. But I mean, at least they touched on it. Maybe we'll never know. I mean, I guess we'll never know. I don't think this will come up again. There's no other forum. Maybe after the altar, if we get one. This couple brought a feminist dialogue during their time instead of clout or drama. Yeah, I agree. I think that was a great... it wasn't like a disagreement per se, but it was still like a problem or an issue. And he could have been rude about it. She could have been rude about it. But they were both very chill, and that's their approach to their relationship. Both very just normal. I mean, they just feel normal to me. Like, I don't know, people I know in real life. And they would just talk through problems, not like yell or fight or be there for clout or something. So yeah, I love them. Hall of Famers. I don't think we got anything else on them. They seem great. Their families are still very close. They divide up the chores. Again, very... I mean, he's definitely like one of the more feminist men we've seen on the show at all that I've noticed. She says like he beats her to the chores, which I relate to him on the dishes. I do not have a dish in the sink. I can't stand that. And that's the only thing I'm clean about, honestly. I'm kind of a messy person, but that's like the one thing. So they seem to divide the work equally. Very cute, very wholesome. I feel like their finances are probably good. They seemed good on that too. I mean, they didn't touch on that. Maybe they could have, but we don't need it. Hopefully we'll see them at future reunions being cute. What else? Okay, so last couple we have, let's see. The last couple, wait, not the last couple, not yet. Really, we spent no time on Chelsea and Jimmy, did we? There we go. Where? Okay, yeah. We did. It was kind of later, and I can't believe they didn't ask if Chelsea and Jimmy are together. Like, what the hell? What the hell? As far as the outfits go, honestly, I think his facial hair is doing him some favors. I think it's a improvement for him. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Chelsea, a lot of people did comment on, well, not at the reunion, obviously, but fans, like, she's been looking a little different. I think she got some work done or something. Also, Micah looked really different to me. Maybe she got something more, like, prominent, like a nose job or something. She looked really different. I don't know what it was. And not, like, in a intense plastic surgery way to me. Just, like, different from what I remembered her looking like. And maybe it was her makeup or something, but Micah looked the most different. But also my memory could just be hazy. Chelsea, I didn't mind the dress because it was like really sparkly. It was kind of holographic too. I know some people think it's like doing too much, and I also think people, don't love Chelsea too much. We didn't have many Team Chelsea's last stream, um, so that might bias them liking the dress or not. I don't mind the dress just because it's like extra, it's over the top, and I like that. Um, so I didn't mind it. The feathers are a little much. Honestly, without the feathers, could be nice. A nice edit. Edit it down. But Chelsea and Jimmy, okay, so of course, they couldn't leave us one episode without bickering. And they talk about basically her airing out the secret that Jimmy told her in confidence about the friend. They ask him about, like, what did the friend think of this? And he says, of course she was upset. And he seemed visibly upset about rehashing all this. Netflix just posted a perfect match for Perfect Match 2 and no Trevor in the ad. I think the editors deserve an Emmy if they can cut him out. That's wild. That's interesting, though. I'm excited to see if they figure it out. So, yeah, Jimmy is, like, visibly still hurt by her airing this out, the secret that he slept with his friend. And they kind of bicker about it because, again, he mentions, like, well, she has her ex-boyfriend she hangs out with, and she's just like, I do not hang out with him. And they kind of bicker a little bit. And I was like, oh, God, here we go again. But I was like, I thought they were together from social media. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. The most surprising thing, though, about this conversation was the cast was, like, really divided on this, and, like, a good amount of them seem to be Team Chelsea. Like, the Lachey's kind of take a poll of the room of, like, who thinks Chelsea was totally wrong for saying that on camera. And I think only, like, Clay or someone said, like, that was wrong, like, if he told her in confidence. But a lot of them were like, no, if it's something that was bothering her, it's fair for her to say it on camera. I was just kind of surprised by that from the cast. I don't know if they're, like, thinking with producer mindsets or something, but, like, I would think in their own relationships and stuff, they would hope the stuff that happens off camera stays off camera, So, I thought that was kind of strange. Honestly, this was the only segment about Chelsea and Jimmy, now that I think about it. Anything else was either about, like, originally, like, Trevor and Chelsea when he was there, and then after this segment, it becomes about Jess and Jimmy and Jess and stuff about that. So we didn't get much about Chelsea and Jimmy. We never got the question if they're still together, if they tried dating after. I mean, he says that betrayal was, like, the nail in the coffin, and after that they were just going through the motions, so he knew it wasn't going to work. Honestly, what if maybe they reconnected at the reunion and that's where they started back up or something? Because this is weird. The stories have definitely been, like, seeming like they're dating. They're, like, hanging out in Florida or traveling together. And yeah, they had, let me find that too. We need to see the rubbing of the hands. But now I have it pulled up, so it's okay. Where are my subtitles? So yeah, after this we go into hearing about Jess and about the choking. So I'm excited to talk about that. Yeah, why does Jeremy mention the bean dip again at this part? Okay, I got it. Real quick. There it is! What is that? What is that? Okay, no more. I'll get taken down. Am I taken down? No. Okay. I'm still here. Good. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I'm so mad. They weren't like, hello, what is that? Bitch. No, I lost my freaking notes. Okay, found them. Cool. Back to them. Yeah, so we don't know. That was the point of that. We don't know. So yeah, moving on to Jess. They do talk about Jess and Jimmy at the lake party and like whether they had chemistry, but they both admit like they didn't see any. Yes, they had like a little bit of chemistry or tension, but it was more about like meeting each other for the first time and being eager to just like do that, but then they did not think of having a future with each other or like pursuing something. And both of them say they didn't. I mean, he was engaged and she was fine with that. I think the cast seemed protective of Chelsea and their responses, likely because of all the online hate she has been getting. Yeah, I agree. I think they seem to like her. AD said she was very surprised about seeing the insecure side of Chelsea, which was interesting to hear because we saw a lot of that in her edit. But AD just doesn't know her that way, knows her as like just bubbly and confident and not insecure, so it was tough to watch. Which I feel like is sincere. They do seem very close. Even Jess talks about she's like really close with Chelsea, and Autumn, her daughter, calls her like Aunt Chelsea, and Jess has come to her defense on social media. Like Jess has been a sister to Chelsea, and a lot of the girls, like aside from Sarah Ann, have been sisterly to each other, and defended each other, had each other's backs, and Jess like it mentions she was like taken aback by all the hate Jimmy and Chelsea were getting. Especially like her comments fueled a lot of that, the EpiPen thing, the choking. Like she didn't realize like the gravity of those words and how it ended up. So they address the choking, like literally Nick or somebody asked Jimmy like, did you choke? Because it was off camera. Great. And Jimmy just, he doesn't say, obviously, I choked or not, but he says, like, you know, you're stunning to Jessica, which, yeah. And it's interesting because he also addresses the following thing, because there was, like, a thing where Jess said, like, oh, he sent me a friend request, and he withdrew it. And he says when he got home, he friend requested everybody from the cast, but then withdrew the Jess one just because of, like, didn't know if it'd be a great idea. It seemed sincere, whatever. It's not that big a deal. Confirms Jeremy showed him the photo. We knew that already. Jeremy was the culprit of getting the off-camera choking. But then Jess had this moment of like calling out Jimmy, and she thought they were friends and that they were good, until he did some interview, which I think I vaguely had heard or seen on Reddit, probably, something about this interview, but I don't think it was that high profile. And she just disputes a lot of what he said in the interview about her and their relationship in the pods, because he had said, like, she walked out on him in one of their last dates after 10 minutes, and it was so rude and whatever. But then she's like, that's a lie. It was like 45 minutes. And then they like show the receipts, and it was like the date was an hour and a half, and then they took an 8-minute break, and then they came back for 50 minutes. And then she walked out, but they agreed to like take a break, and then she walked out. Like, so her side of the story seemed to be the accurate one. It doesn't matter that much. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, who cares who saw this interview? I don't think Jess is getting the most hate out of the cast. She's probably getting some of the most love, relatively. I'm sure they're all getting hate, but you know, relatively to even Jimmy and Chelsea themselves, like, she's probably has a way better social media, like, she's being received better on social media. So I don't think that was that big a deal. Honestly, I think Jess just kind of wanted a reunion moment, you know? She's doing her audition for Bravo. Like, seriously, Looney said, I think Jess likes the attention, or liked the attention. I think it was about that a little bit for Jess. I mean, love her for it. She has the personality to back it up. I keep saying it. Love her. I think it's fine. But it was kind of like a call out that was like, was it necessary? I don't know. So it seems like they're not friends because of this interview where he threw her under the bus. Which, like, that's fair. Don't be friends. They don't need to be friends. I don't think. She's friends with Chelsea. I think that's fine. It's honestly safer, I think, for her to just not be friends with Jimmy. Like, it can only lead to bad things. I keep thinking they're still together, but they're not. Oh, or are they? Girl, I don't know. But you know what I mean. I think it's safest for him if he's pursuing any other relationship that's not Jess, for him not to be like super buddies with Jess. We did get a little moment. Okay, then moving on. Let's move on. Our last couple, I guess. And, well, former couple. Oh, shit. I forgot. I had this. Jessica's look. I mean, it's over the top, but it fits her personality, I think. I think it screams, I want attention, and she's getting it, you know. It's a pretty bold one. But I don't mind it. I think it's fun for her. Went all out with the dress. I forgot I had her reunion look on here. Where are we at? Okay, Kenneth and Brittany. They had a little moment towards the end. Even Brittany was like, finally, I get my moment, because they were at the very end. So, we didn't get to... Sorry, max and mic out. We didn't get too much on that. Not too much information. Obviously, they broke up. We saw that. But the weirdest thing is that they're still oddly close. They're like best friends. I don't know. So they first asked them about like, oh, the sex, and like, why do you want to wait? Or was that it? Oh, okay, no. They asked like, do you ever just want to do it, you know, before marriage? But Brittany said that sex is a supplement to her marriage, and that she shouldn't have to test it out to figure out if it's right or not. And I mean, whatever, it's her choice in the end. And then they grill Kenneth about the phone thing. He uses the excuse that he's the principal. That's why he was on his phone 24/7. He's boots on the ground principal, you know, sure. We're all very much buying it. Um, and the most interesting, I guess, question for them was like, or for Kenneth was he phased by the breakup, because it looked like he wasn't. Um, but he just used the excuse of like everyone processes things differently. The emotionalism kicks in for some people, but not for him, I guess. um, and they just come out and say like the bond, or Brittany says the bond they have will last an eternity, and that they talk every day. They're super close. They give each other dating advice. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. They had like a TikTok recently where he like popped out of a room in her house or something. I don't know if it implies anything, or if they just hang out or what, but that was weird. And I don't know what that was. And I wish they would have just asked them directly at the end of the segment, like, are y'all together though? Can you clarify that for sure, Z's? But they didn't. So I assume they're not. But still, they were weird. I don't want to say more about this couple. I mean, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. That's all our couples. Oh, we got an update on Matthew. We got the receipts finally on Matthew, and the footage of him and Amber. Where is our... There we go. We got footage of Amber and Matthew in the pods. It was like a side-by-side. It was a shady scene, because they almost put him side by side with what he was telling Amber, what he was telling AD, and it was quite the same kinds of things. Oh my god. I forgot. The biggest gag was AD and Matthew went on 2 to 3 dates? Excuse me? What? And Clay was kind of like visibly upset. I mean, he was uncomfy, as they love to say. But what? I was surprised. I don't know. I know they keep saying he's like hot. Maybe AD said he was hot. Maybe in person it's like a vibe or something. But they just seem like totally different. And so AD does say like it fizzled out because their lifestyles are so different. He's super like by the clock, disciplined, intense, and she's more go with the flow in general. And their lifestyles just didn't match at all. So I don't know, but he cooked her rice and chicken, she said. I was pretty surprised by this. I don't know. It just felt like something that wouldn't happen unless producers forced it, you know? Like, it feels like, why would you talk to these people off camera? I think I'm just so cynical or jaded about reality TV that I'm like, there's no way off camera they care, like AD cares about Matthew or thinks about him. But I guess, you know, there's more sincerity there than I thought. Does anyone think AD and Matthew hooked up? I mean, I think it's possible. 2 to 3 dates, that's normal to, you know, potentially. Yeah, I think they might have. And AD said he's kind of cute, y'all. So, I don't think... And Clay was really uncomfortable too and mad about it. So, if Clay was, like, mad, that might mean, you know... I don't know. But, I mean, Clay keeps it respectful. He's very, like, you know, I have nothing but respect for the guy. But it kind of feels like he's saying it through gritted teeth a little bit. Like, you know, whatever. Matthew's there. And I know AD saw him. So that was interesting. That was kind of like, I was not expecting the Matthew updates, but I'm glad we got him. I wish they would have just told us, like, why was he not at any pool lake parties or pod squad thingies or at the reunion? Like, why was he not there? Clay mentions, like, he's not here to defend himself or anything, just casually. So I'm like, but why? Where's he? Where's Amber? They could have just been like in the audience, not like have to have a spot on the couch. If she knows about his lifestyle so much, that's so true. How does she know so much about his lifestyle? Something went on. Something went on there. But good for her. I mean, love that there's evidence she tried moving on or is fine moving on. I mean, she said she'd be fine. I have no doubt AD will be fine. But yeah, that was all our couples from season 6. We got a few updates from the others, some of the other past cast members. Oh, we did get a little bit of an update on the Chelsea Megan Fox thing. Basically, she just said she big time regrets that, which, yeah, I think she learned a lesson there. And probably future Love is Blind people learn their lesson there. We got a little clip of Zach and Bliss celebrating their baby shower. They're having a girl. It was so nice to see, like, how that season 4 friend group is still intact. Specifically the couples that got married, you know, Zach and Bliss, Chelsea and Kwame, Tiffany and Brett. It was so cute. They were at the baby shower. I've been following their journey because Bliss is the only Love is Blind contestant I follow because she's my favorite of all time. I consider this season I might follow Amy because I projected myself onto her. I loved her. But yeah, I've been following Zach and Bliss's pregnancy journey, and then shortly after, Alexa and Brennan also announced they were pregnant. They opened up about having fertility issues when they were trying to conceive, but it finally happened. They're looking for a house. They didn't reveal the gender at the reunion, but that's cute. Several of his blind babies now. Vanessa can rest easily. She can sleep at night. Boop listens. I wasn't a fan of them during their season, but once they got together, I was like, okay, I must approve. Chelsea and Kwame, we got an update on them. I forgot totally that Chelsea's like a producer now, or not a producer, a casting person for Love is Blind. That's her new gig, and she got to mention it, which is fun. I mean, it's so weird and meta, but like, okay. And she says it's so fulfilling, and they travel a lot, so good for them. Was that all? We got Colleen and Matt update. They're living together now. Okay. I was like, great. Great. Poor Colleen always looks so traumatized or something. I mean, maybe it's just her face. I don't know. Yeah, they finally moved in. That was their thing. They hadn't moved in together. And then Micah and Izzy were there as singles. Oh, Janina was there too with her bachelor husband. And she's pregnant as well. She's having a boy. She seemed very chill. I mean, I thought it was very kind, I guess, of Love is Blind and Kinetic and Netflix to like put her bachelor husband on there because, like, isn't that your competition franchise? So it's kind of interesting to see worlds collide a bit and like let him on the stage and everything. But cute for her. I think they're just happy to see her pregnant and they want to show her off. And yeah, Micah and Izzy were the only singles and they were there to announce Perfect Match Season 2. Yay! They're on there, which I thought, or like, I had heard rumors or that it was leaked. Izzy was on there from last season. I don't know if I mentioned it in my coverage or not, because sometimes I'm like, should I mention leaks? I don't know, because it's spoilers technically. So it was so long ago. It feels like so long ago season 5 aired that I'm like, wait, this is Izzy's season of Perfect Match that Jess and Trevor are supposed to be on? I'm like, oh, that Perfect Match season hasn't even aired yet. I felt like it's so long ago, but yeah, Izzy and Micah. I mean, good for them. They're getting their bag. extending their 15 minutes. And yeah, that was everybody. I liked this format of updates at the reunion. I think it was a cute way to still feel connected to all of the different seasons of Love is Blind, and get updates without having to produce like a fake birthday party for them to gather at and pretend to fight about old drama. I wonder if we'll get it after the altar for season 6. We did not get one for season 5. Maybe they're phasing that out, or maybe season 5 was just so broken and fucked up, especially with all the behind the scenes stuff, that maybe it was just season 5 won't have after the altar and they'll continue it season 6. I'm curious to see, but those things are never necessary. Like, every time I'm just like, what was the point? What was the point of all this? So, yeah, at the very end, Brennan and Alexa, whatever their names are, Brennan says that watching Love is Blind is like therapy. Do y'all agree? Do y'all feel therapized from watching this season? I think his point is that, like, it opens up conversations with whoever you're watching it with, which I guess it does. We're conversing now. So I guess a little bit. It feels like more examples of like what not to do or things to avoid. But it was interesting. They were playing up that angle quite a bit at the end, like watching the show is like therapy, which the show does not serve as a substitute for therapy. I will endorse that, but it's just funny to think of it that way, when there's so much toxicity. But it's good. I feel like a lot of us see reflections of ourselves in some of them, even the toxic ones, and maybe we get to learn about ourselves. That's part of what reality TV is for. So, yeah, Perfect Match is so unserious. I can't handle Perfect Match. Maybe I'll cover season 2, but goddamn, season 1, I could not get through it. It's just like, how am I supposed I don't know how to watch it and pretend like they're being serious when they're like not. Like, they don't even live in the same cities. They're just there for screen time, and I wish it was more of like a money. Is it a money thing? Is there money at the end? Like, just make it Survivor at this point. I'll watch that, but like adding this love dating angle, I'm like, obviously they're not gonna date. So thanks so much for joining me on this journey. It's so late. I had fun. This reunion was great. I hope they keep it up. I just think they addressed the majority of the things the fans wanted, and that's pretty new for Love is Blind. I feel like a lot of the time reunions feel really tame. They don't get to the real issues. They're afraid to like bring in social media tea. And this time they went all for it. The Lachey's were dragging where they needed to drag, and it was great. So I think it was a strong ending, a toast to the end of a season, the end of an era. I messed up the color. Yeah, I'll be here for the next Love is Blind season if we do any, or if they decide to do more ultimatums, or I hope another queer ultimatum comes. That was really fun. Well, really toxic, but just more interesting. Also, I know Love is Blind UK is coming. I definitely would cover that. And yeah, I'm trying to think of other ideas in the off season. I'm excited for some video ideas I have in the pipeline, but I'll definitely be back for other Love is Blinds. There's so many cities that I've heard are like in the pipeline: Denver, DC, Minneapolis, maybe others, but those for sure I've heard of. So yeah, it's been a successful season. It was quite a ride. It's a lot of work when it's the on season, on my end, making videos, trying to turn them around fast. I was going through health shit. I was going through a lot to do through some of these videos. So it's just fun to escape. I'm very excited for Love Is Blind UK. I feel like it'll be a fresh perspective. And British people have kind of a different vibe and humor and maybe drama. I don't know. So excited to see how that turns out. But yeah, I will be here. Make sure to like the stream, subscribe. You can follow me on my socials to keep up with me. I'm at Miscellaneous on everything. And yeah, happy Love Is Blind season 6. Thanks for joining the journey. And have a good night or morning or whatever you're at. Catch you in the next one. Bye.